Hey, what's up, everybody? Extra innings. We are back. It's been a few weeks, but lots going on. Got lots going on, Dave. I got my man Dave here, and then I got a special guest. I got our man Adam Poppel. With trade deadline, my man Adam's a real big baseball guy. So like I said, it's been a couple weeks since we've been on. And, much has happened. I mean, all kinds of moves, contenders making moves, certain teams like the White Sox basically trading some guys. The Marlins traded like everybody. And, so we got a lot to get into here as I just watched Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm just tied it up with the Phillies Yankees. It looks like it's about to be 1-1. So we're going to get into it here. I got my man Dave, the showstopper, and then of course we got Adam Poppel. So what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Pretty good. So Adam, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I always love the trade deadline. It's always a fun time.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. And sorry, I just got a little distracted here because I'm trying to do the show, but as obviously as a Phillies fan. And watching this team like totally crap the bed the last couple weeks, it was very encouraging to see a double. So,
Adam, welcome to the show, man. Is he okay?
I don't know.
Adam, welcome to the show, bro. Can he hear me?
So anyway, I got a couple comments here. I got my man Mike Fuji. What's good with you fellas? What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Mike, what's up, Fuge?
Then we got a comment here. I got my man Paul Spencer says it's deadline time and the boys are back. And the baseball guru Adam is in the house.
Yes, he is. Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks so much.
So all right, well, we'll get into standings and all that kind of stuff later, but I think being that it's July 30th and the deadline just passed, let's get into that first. I guess I'll
just an hour ago, Joe.
Yeah. So let's get into some of these moves. And Adam, I'll start with you. I mean, what do you think the biggest impact deal of this trade deadline was? Or maybe if there's a few.
Yeah, I think you there, Adam?
I'm here. It keeps coming in and out, but I'm here now.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say. So, what do you think the biggest impact deal of the trade deadline is, or was?
I would say Tanner Scott to the Padres. That bullpen is now going to be very insane. Now the Padres gave up a ton of stuff for him. I mean, when the Phillies traded for Estevez, everybody was saying, "Oh, they gave up too much." Well, the Padres gave up 3 prospects, I think, in the top 10, and then their 28th top prospect for a rental guy, just like the Phillies for Estevez were a rental guy. The Phillies only gave up 2 guys in like the top 10 or 12. But I think Tanner Scott really solidifies that bullpen, and the Padres are the real deal. They're really going for it.
Yeah, that kind of you look at the standings here. I mean, they're 6.5 behind the Dodgers, so the Dodgers improved too. So the Dodgers are probably going to take the West. But if you think about it, you got San Diego and Arizona both kind of tied. Arizona's 56 and 51. Then of course you got the Mets at 56 and 50, and then you got teams like the Cardinals and the Pirates. So San Diego really solidifying that bullpen might probably gave themselves. You look at it. The San Diego team, it's a 6-inning game now. Mm-hmm. And they've probably given themselves a leg up on that competition. And I'll tell you what, if that Padres team, say they get into the wild card and somehow they win a round, they're a dangerous team going into that division series because of that bullpen.
Yeah, the only thing that's hurting the Padres now is them losing Yu Darvish. That does hurt a little bit, but they've really reinforced their bullpen. They're going to be right there. The other team I really like what they did was the Orioles because they picked up Zach Eflin and Trevor Rogers. They really upgraded their pitching staff. Soto and Sir Anthony, not so sure about those 2 guys. And I'm also curious about Elroy Jimenez. I think he's okay, but I thought the Orioles had a really strong outfield, so that kind of is a head scratcher. They They picked him up, and they're going to pay him like $13 million a year. But it just shows that the old Orioles are not here anymore. They're willing to pick up guys for their money. So that was pretty nice. So I think the Orioles and Padres are the top two teams. And I think I like the moves that the Pirates made. I like the moves the Phillies made right after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Linda. Thank you for checking in.
And then we got Paul Spencer has a comment. He says, okay, the Pirates are building for the future. Bullpen help, but still needs bat. They're young. Future is coming. Yeah, I mean, and the Pirates are right there. I mean, like we were talking about, in the wild card. I mean, the Pirates could use more hitting, but that pitching staff, with Paul Skeens and you got the other kid, Josh, Jack, I'm drawing a blank. Josh, what the hell's his name? The second pitcher of the Pirates. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
I didn't see that.
Jones, maybe?
What's that?
Is it Jones? I can't
remember.
I
believe so. Yeah, Jones, and then of course they got Jared Jones. There you go.
Jared Jones.
They have Mitch Keller too, who's a solid number 3.
Right.
They're going to be a scary team in the playoffs to get any kind of offense. I mean, they have Brian Reynolds, who's a very good player. I like the move they made to get Brian De La Cruz from the Marlins. He's a good, solid power hitter who can hit about 250, giving them 20 home runs. I'm not thrilled with McCutcheon, but he's a Pittsburgh legend, and he'll add.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
As a veteran, he'll add. They still are a little short on the offensive end, but if they can get a few runs, that pitching staff can. And they made a couple nice additions in the bullpen as well. So it's nice to see a team like the Pirates, who's like a small market team, actually make some moves to make their team better. The other thing about De La Cruz too is he's under team control, I think, until 2027. So they have him not just for this year, but for a few years.
Yeah. How about you, Dave? What was your biggest impression from this trade deadline?
I'm going to go opposite of Adam this time. I'm going to say the Braves getting MVP Jorge Soler. I think that was a big move for them. They definitely needed him. Just to bring him back, I think that was a big move for them. And I'm also going to go with the Yankees getting Jazz Chisholm Jr. I think that was a big move for them too. Just makes the Yankees powerful, but he had to go. It was just time for him to go. But to me, honestly, I like the Braves. I like Jorge Soler. I think it's a big move for them. I really think that.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, if you could get a time machine and get the Soler that played in Florida last year, or the Soler that was in Atlanta a few years ago, it would be looking really good. I mean, he hasn't had the type of year, but for Atlanta, it's not a bad move because you sit there and you go, hey, this guy's been here before. Familiar territory, change of scenery, coming back to a pennant race. I think it's a good move. I'll tell you, I'll tell you a move that kind of scares me a little bit because this guy kills the Phillies. If Arizona gets in, they got Josh Bell.
I knew you were going to say
that.
Yes.
That scares me a little bit because he wears out the Phillies, that guy.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the Phillies would trade for him. Not that he doesn't play outfield, but would you rather have him on the bench or Weston Wilson on the bench? I mean, he's a solid veteran player. Again, he doesn't play outfield, so that's probably why they wouldn't go after him. I also think an under the radar move is Mark Leiter Jr. going to the Yankees. He's a decent reliever. He's not terrible. The thing about Jazz Chisholm, he has a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong.
He does.
He strikes out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he had 2 home runs against the Phillies, but it was really 1 home run because one of the home runs was against Garrett Stubbs.
Right.
So he has potential.
But he plays the main third, Adam. I would
have rather had him than obviously Austin Hayes.
Right.
But I think the Yankees could have done more. I think they were okay, but they're trying to win their division. And what they got with Jazz Chisholm and Mark Leiter Jr. Is that going to – if you're living in New York, are you going to be really excited about those moves?
Not really, but, I mean, with Jazz Chisholm, though, he is fast. He's got speed. And he's not a bad third baseman, though. Think about it.
And he's never played third base, which is nice.
No.
He comes in there and he just does a great job yesterday.
He actually did great. He did good yesterday. He looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, honestly, objectively looking at it, if I'm looking at what Baltimore did and what the Yankees did, to me, I like what Baltimore did much more. I mean, and we talked about the Sir Anthony Dominguez. Like, yeah, Sir Anthony has been, wildly inconsistent in Philly the last 2 years. But in my opinion, the Orioles, I feel like for the Orioles, that's a worthwhile gamble to take. Because if you could get Sir Anthony right, I mean, look at the 2022 run that he had in Philadelphia. He's got postseason experience, so I don't think that was a terrible move by Baltimore. And like you said, Zach Eflin and the kid from Florida, they added 2 starters, and if nothing else, those guys can pitch a lot of innings because you guys know as well. I mean, we're seeing it here in Philly with with Ranger Suarez. And even Wheeler getting a bat back. I mean, one of the hidden things in baseball is the fact that the season is so long. I mean, you want to fast forward to October, but let's keep it real. You still got to get through all these innings.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too about the Orioles too is that Trevor Rogers was on the team for another 2.5 years. So if he was a very good prospect when he came up. He struggled lately, but he's still fairly young, 26 years old. So it's worth a gamble. The other thing, though, is the only thing I would say wrong about the Orioles, I like a lot of the moves they did, but their bullpen is still shaky. I mean, Sir Anthony Dominguez and Soto were their big bullpen moves. They couldn't hack it here. Yeah, they could turn it around, don't get me wrong, but wouldn't you rather have someone that you can get that's proven for that bullpen rather than
how many blown saves does Gabriel have so far?
Well, what's funny about Kimbrel? He's doing exactly what he did last year and other years. He pitches well at the beginning of the year, and then once it gets to about July or August, he starts to go off a cliff.
Right.
That's why he was left off the Dodgers postseason roster a few years ago. You saw what happened with the Phillies. I don't want to have to bring that back again.
I think I read 6 blown saves with the Orioles so far. Is that right?
I think you're right.
I think that's what I read. Yeah, I thought I read that.
And it looks like they took him out of the closer's role. It looks like they had, I guess, Cano is now closing for them.
Okay.
Last game I saw him close, so I'm guessing they moved it to him unless they're saying, oh, we're just getting Kimbrel out to pitch in low leverage until they –
Well, I knew he blew his save the other night, and then the Orioles ended up getting the win anyway. I think it was an extra 10, I think it was.
Say again?
I said I know Kimbrel blew his save the other night, but the Orioles still got the win. And I think it went 10 innings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in Florida. I mean, Kimbrel's been blowing so many. I mean, his knee's got to be hurting him. You know what I'm saying? He's just, it's killing him, dude.
They should take Kimbrel and they should put him on load management for the first half of the year, and then have him pitch the second half of the year, and it'll be great.
Yeah, I'll tell you that's the Orioles. If I'm looking at this, if the Orioles lost their closer, I mean, if they had their closer, their legit closer, then to me they would be odds on the World Series favorite, in my opinion.
And not only that, they paid $12 million for Craig Kimbrel. If they had their closer, they could use that $12 million somewhere else to help their team in other places.
Right, because the one thing about the Orioles is the Orioles aren't, they're not like Philadelphia or New York or some of these other teams or the LA Dodgers, that could sit there and just, add, I mean, I don't want to say whatever you want, but you have a lot more financial flexibility when you're in one of these big markets.
Well, that's the one thing with the new Orioles ownership. At least they're getting more. They're spending more money, like what they did today with Jimenez from the White Sox. They picked up his contract. He's getting like $13 million this year, $13 million next year. So at least the Orioles are spending more money now, which is good. But you're right; they're not going to be on the same level as in New York or in LA or Philly. But still, their ownership is committed to winning as well.
Yeah. Speaking of New York, were you a little surprised the Mets didn't do a little more? I was reading a whole bunch of buzz going into the deadline that they were going to be buyers. They're going for it, and it's a little. I mean, I know they made a couple moves, but a little underwhelmed with what they did. Well,
I think they're on the run right now, Joe. I mean, the way they've been doing really well the last month. So I think they might have changed their mind doing that. Because I was thinking I thought maybe Peter would go. I thought maybe Alonso, but it wasn't the case. So
Well, a couple of things with the Mets, they've gotten so hot lately, they can't trade Alonso because they want to stay in this wild card race.
I said the same thing. That's what I was thinking because I didn't think they would, everybody's like, oh, we're going to trade Alonso. I'm like, why? I mean, they're playing really well lately. Why would they do that? And
then the other thing is they had Cody Stenga come back and he got hurt his first game. He's gone.
Yeah, that was rough too.
So maybe I missed it, but did the Mets trade for any starting pitching? I don't think they did. I think they got a couple.
To my knowledge, no, I don't think so.
Just a couple relievers.
Yeah, they got. It looks like they got a reliever, Nicholas Carreno.
They got like low end relievers. That's all they did with trades. So you're right, Joe. They should have did more. That team in New York, they're going to be like, oh, this owner, he said he's going to spend all this money, and that's what they trade for. It's just surprising.
Right. Yeah, the thing about them, though, I guess. To Dave's point, I mean, about a month ago, they were thinking of selling. So I guess if you think about it, they were kind of in between a rock and a hard place because you brought up what San Diego gave up to get the Tanner Scott. I mean, it was really a seller's market. So I mean, if you're the Mets, these guys have had a nice run, but in reality, I think they're about a year or two away. So they probably didn't want to give up like top prospects for the chance of a wild card, especially.
I agree with you on that, but I just thought they'd get like a 4-star.
Oh yeah,
and they didn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't either because they've been playing really good ball, and you know how baseball is nowadays. I mean, especially I want to say the last 5, 6, 7 years. It's not really necessarily the best team that wins the World Series. A lot of times, it's the hot team.
Right.
So imagine imagine you sneak into the playoffs and you're white hot, and you got Lindor on a hot streak, or you got Alonso gets hot, and that those
even Alvarez. Don't take him out of the equation. I mean,
right. I mean. Is it unlikely? Yeah, I'm sure it is, but you never know, man. I mean, you get hot at the right time, you could win a couple rounds. I mean, look at the Phillies 2 years ago. Phillies sneak in. I mean, Christ, they look like a shoo-in to lose that first game versus St. Louis. Next thing you know, they come back in the 9th inning, they sweep St. Louis, they take out Atlanta, and next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, we're in the World Series.
It's crazy.
Beat the Padres too after a while. But here's the other thing too. So Mets players are playing their tail off. They won all those games. Mm-hmm. They come into the deadline. They find out they get 2, okay relievers. What are the players thinking? Like, hey, we played so hard. Can't you get us someone that's like a little bit more than a couple of decent relievers? Oh, they did get a.
They got Blackburn. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
He's a decent player. I don't know why I didn't have Blackburn in my head. He's decent, but no, Paul Blackburn is a starter. He is a starter. Brazoban and Zubar are just minor. I remember Brazoban used to pitch like every game against the Phillies when he was with the Marlins. But the relievers are nothing. Blackburn's okay, I guess. So they did get that 4th or 5th starter. I was wrong.
Where did they get? Did they get Blackburn from the A's?
Yes.
That's what I'm reading. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember that. Yeah, that's okay. So the Mets did okay, I guess. They got a starter that they needed. I still don't think they had the best deadline, though. I still think I think there's probably 5 teams that have better trade deadlines than them, but
yeah. Hey, I have a game update. Austin Hayes just hit a 3-run shot for Philadelphia. It's 4-1 Phillies, bottom of the second.
Wow.
People
Crazy.
can get all Austin Hayes is back now. It was only 3 games, and people are already saying he's terrible. It's 3 games. Give the guy a chance.
I know. That's one thing. A lot of people, a lot of baseball fans in general, well, especially in this Philadelphia area, you know what I mean? Like, need to keep it in perspective. I mean, I think sometimes when you're a football town, you view everything through the NFL prism. And if you think about it, there's 162 baseball games. I mean, you can't live and die with every game or every 2 or 3 games. You almost have to view it in like 20 to 25 game stretches to see how you're doing, in my opinion, anyway.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not like football. Like if your team loses 2 games in football, okay, there's only 6, or now there's 17. There's only 17 games till the season. So you lose 2 games, that's kind of scary.
Baseball, they're talking like 18 now. They're just, I keep hearing, I don't even know what's going on with that.
I mean, you lose 5 games in baseball, you still have 157 other games. I mean, it's like nothing in a season.
Yeah, like I saw our man Pat Bernard last night was commenting, and he was, he was freaking out. And listen, I get it. I mean, it was a terrible loss, and I'm not happy with how the team's playing right now either. You know what I mean? But to keep it in perspective, I mean, just say hypothetically, they win the next 2. Well, then you win the series. Then the world's not ending. You know what I mean?
No.
So I have a question for you guys. Very easy question. Who went to the World Series from the NL last year?
Arizona.
Right. Arizona in the month of September, I believe, went 12-19. They're 12-19, but yet they went to the World Series. So I mean, let's take a chill pill here and understand baseball is a very long season. Now I am concerned.
Yeah.
About it's not just like 1 or 2 guys. It's like the whole lineup can't hit. That concerns me. Like when they have these stretches where because they can go at any time. You saw that the last 2 games against Arizona last year, they suddenly couldn't hit. There's like 2 games, and it was the whole team. So that does concern me a little bit that they can go in those stretches. So my hope is they get it out of their system now, and they're fine at the end of the year, and they're hitting.
Yeah, I hear you, and also, but look, I mean, it's kind of that way throughout baseball, though. Like I'm looking here, top 2 teams, in top 2 teams NL East, Philadelphia Phillies last 10, 3-7, Atlanta Braves 3-7. All right, NL West really isn't the one. Hang on, it was
Joe, to that point, while you're looking, I think I saw somewhere the Guardians, the Dodgers, and the Phillies, top 3 teams in baseball, are up there.
Yeah,
the Yankees too, top 4. They're all like over the last 23 games. They're all like 11-12. Every one of them.
Padres are 7-3 the last 10.
Right, but
that's why they made the moves, because they were playing well. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about the 4 top teams in baseball are all like 11-12 in their last 23. I saw the other day. So no one's playing well.
Yeah, except for a few teams. Yeah, exactly. Like Orioles 4-6 last 10, Yankees 5-5, Boston 3-7. Then you got, like you said, Guardians 5-5, Twins 4-6, and then you got AL West. You got Astros 5-5, Mariners 4-6. So basically, most of the league, other than a couple teams, is kind of playing around 500 ball this time of year.
Yeah, when you get to the end of July, beginning of August, it's like the teams are like, they play for so long, they get in these stretches where it's hard on them to play consistent baseball. And then they pick it up again.
Well, it's like the Astros. I mean, my God, they were in 3rd place 2 months ago. Now they're back on top of the West. I mean,
they went absolutely nuts, that team. Oh, jeez,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I don't know if we really went through the losers at the deadline. We kind of went over winners. Mike Fuji says, "Who do you think are the winners and the losers?" I would say the Mets. I think the Mets kind of had a losing deadline, and another team I would kind of say the White Sox, because like first, and you know what? Actually, I'll say Oakland A's too. Oakland maybe because they couldn't trade Mason Miller, because even though Mason Miller's a really good young pitcher, this might have been the year where maybe you wanted to capitalize on a guy like him, but unfortunately he got hurt. Who would you guys have as maybe losers at the deadline?
Even though the Dodgers got Flaherty, that's really, I mean, they did a couple other minor moves. Their pitching staff is still not great. And Flaherty, when he was traded during the deadline last year to the Orioles, when he came there, he did not pitch well. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I'm a little underwhelmed by the Dodgers, even though they got Flaherty. I do think the A's missed an opportunity here, because even though Miller's hurt, they still could have got a lot for him because he's going to come back. They also could have got a lot for Brent Rooker as well, because he's under club control. And the A's are not going to be anything for the next 3, 4, 5 years. You might as well capitalize, get young guys, trade these guys away. So I kind of think the A's and the White Sox, and part of the White Sox was the undoing of Crochet. He decided to come out and say, I won't pitch in October. I need to be a starter, and I need to get an extension. That hurt his trade. And also, I still think they should have traded Lewis Robert because they're not going anywhere. So trade these guys away. And they probably want to ask for like a king's ransom. Oh, here's another team that screwed up a little bit too. Even though they traded Lane Thomas, the Nationals had to trade Finnegan. What are they doing? I mean, Finnegan's on the roster. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that he is a free agent maybe at the end of the year.
I think he's actually controlled through next year. Okay,
then fine. Then they could still trade him, but they better trade him in the offseason, I think, because you're going to get the most takers in the offseason. But I was surprised they didn't even – they probably were asking a king's ransom for him, considering how much they got for the Phillies traded for Estevez and how much –
Yeah, I was just going to go there. I was going to say the Angels.
Oh, the Angels. Yeah, what were they doing? I mean, that outfielder, who was it? Ward? Did they have there?
Yep.
Why is he still there? Why didn't they trade him?
I don't know. I can't figure that out.
They did trade Luis Garcia last minute. I saw that.
Well, the two prospects for Carlos Estevez, I didn't think that was,
Yeah, I didn't think it was that big a deal. I mean, people.
I didn't either, honestly.
I mean, do you want to try to win the World Series, or don't you want to try to win the World Series? And it's not like they gave up any of their top 4 prospects. So
exactly.
Yeah. The other thing is, too, I know, because everybody was crying about that Clausen guy, and he has decent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, the bottom line is, he has decent stuff. But the bottom line is that, the Phillies pitching staff is pretty much set for at least like the next 2 to 3 years, and really 3 to 4, especially if they re-sign Suarez. So you figure, you're going to have Painter coming up. You're going to see what he could do. And, I know it's only been 3 starts, but, this Tyler Phillips kid is showing something. I mean, you're not going to give him a chance maybe at a 5th starter spot. And then, of course, you got Sanchez, Wheeler, Nola. I mean, they're pretty much set at starting pitching.
Well, they did say they said that Clausen will probably end up being a reliever, but he's in single A. You never know how these guys are going to turn out. Single A.
Is Tyler, is the Lorenzo trade that the Phillies did last year kind of like Tyler Phillips this year?
Well, Phillips was picked up a couple of years ago from the Rangers, and he's in the.
I mean, is it kind of like same situation though? As I'm saying.
He came up late, and he's kind of like filling the role that Lorenzo did last year.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's where I'm going with this.
I think Lorenzo was a little bit more established. Obviously, Phillips came out of nowhere.
Okay.
He's a guy who pulled in the minor leagues that no one really thought anything of. Phillies brought him up, and he just became magic. We'll see if he can keep it up.
Lorenzo did too. Remember, he came in there, he pitched that the no-hitter, I think it was, or something.
Yeah, but he was a known quantity. He was in the majors.
Okay.
Where Phillips was just toiling in the minors, and no one thought anything of him.
Gotcha.
Yes, the no-hitter was very nice, but he still was a starting pitcher in the major leagues before he got here.
Yeah,
but after that, he went downhill. Remember, it was like.
Yeah, once that no-hitter took everything out.
Exactly.
He got traded too, Lorenzen again this year to the Royals.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, listen, Adam. I really appreciate you hopping on and talking this deadline. We're going to get into some of the standings and stuff, but I just wanted to say thanks a lot for hopping on. It's always good talking baseball with you.
Adam, real quick before you leave us, how about the Rays getting Chris Morel? What was your pick on that?
I actually like him a lot. The Cubs got Paredes, who looks good, but I liked Morel. I think he could become a very good player. So
I think he can too.
Yeah. It was nice joining you guys. I appreciate it.
Do you think the Rays made out in that trade though?
I think it was one of these trades was good for both teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. All right, Adam. Well, look, man. Thanks for hopping on, bro.
No problem. Thanks. Have a good rest of the show.
Adam, take care, man.
Thanks. See you later.
Say it.
Yep.
Hey,
wow.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So obviously the deadline was the big story. And that's good, and that's going to impact a lot of these. That's going to impact a lot of these standings here.
Well, like Adam said, I think the Orioles made out really well. I think they did well. But I still say that the Braves getting Jorge Soler is a big. I think that's a big thing for them. I really do.
It could be. It definitely could be. But yeah, I mean, they're the major acquisitions. Let's see here. I wanted to get into. Yes, I mean, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to go over every single trade. You know what I mean? We'd be
No, of course not. There's to be all night.
yeah. So, but yeah, let's see. Let me break down some of these standings here. Where do you want to start first?
Let's go with the AL West.
All right, so the AL West, and all right. Well, now the Houston Astros. I got the Astros in first now.
I'm shocked on that because when we left this, I swear, when we on that show, what the Astros is like second or third?
Well, last show they were right there, but about a couple shows ago we were actually talking about them maybe being sellers, and they wound up adding. Now the Astros added a pitcher from Toronto. Hang on,
okay,
up here. Hang on, I got so many freaking papers here. The bottom line is the Astros 55 and 51, first place, and I'll get into who they added.
5 and 5 in the last 10, Joe.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much like the whole league. Like I said, the whole league. I know the Astros added the left-handed pitcher from Toronto. What's it, Kikwe or? Hang on, let me see here. Houston Astros. It's never where you want to find it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course not. Yeah.
And my son has my phone, so that's the out. Well, anyway, they added a pitcher, and
okay.
Here we go. I found it.
There you go.
The Astros added Yusei Kikuchi or Kikuchi. I don't know, dude. I can't say his name.
Kikuchi,
Yeah, they gave up three. They gave up 3 minor leaguers. They actually traded Billy Wagner's son, Will Wagner.
Okay.
Former Astro and former Philly and former Met, Billy Wagner.
Right.
Was he a former Brave too?
I want to say he was.
Yeah, he was like all over the place. So, like I said, yeah. So that we'll see what happens there with the Astros making that acquisition. Seattle Mariners pretty much in a virtual tie, 56 and 52. They're only 4 and 6 in their last 10. So you got both those teams nipping at the heels. I know the Mariners made it. The Mariners added AJ Polk?
Yes.
Reliever, and I think they added a couple other things too. None of them really stuck out to me. But they made moves. They were aggressive.
But
you know what? They made a nice move. They added Justin Turner.
I did hear that. I did hear that. Yes, I did. The Turner went to the Mariners.
Yeah, so Seattle added Justin Turner.
No, I'm just shocked. I mean, I'm looking at the AL West. I'm just shocked that the World Series champs are sitting in third, 3.5 out. Blows my mind.
They've been starting to play a little better. They're only 52 and 55, 3.5 out, like you said. They're 6 and 4 in their last 10, so they made up a game. What did they do? I'm trying to see. Let me see.
Rangers? Not much. That's what
I know. They added a July 28th. They added a catcher by the name of Carson Kelly.
Okay.
And I could have swore, I think they added a pitcher from Detroit today, maybe a relief pitcher. Drawing a blank on who that is. I don't have it in this paper here, but they made a few moves. Fourth place, Dave. Do you have fourth place in
fourth place is the Angels.
All right, what's the Angels' record?
They're 46 and 60.
All right.
And they're actually they're 9 games back, and they're 11.5 out of the wild card spot.
All right, and how about
and of course the Oakland A's are 44 and 64. They're 12 games out. They're 14.5 out of the wild card spot.
Damn, how sad? You know what?
But they are 7 and 3 in the last 10 games.
Well, there's a guy that I thought would get traded was Rooker. I mean, Rooker's been. I mean, he's he's got what does he have, about 28 home runs? I mean,
Something like that. He's hot. Yep.
Yeah, hang on. I got it in my stats here. Yeah, I think he's got 28. He's not in my top 5, so I think he's right below it. I have Aaron Judge with 39, Ohtani with 32, Ozuna with 31, Santander of Baltimore with 30, and I got Gunnar Henderson of Baltimore with 28.
Gunner's killing it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's really impressive. Is with the simple fact that Baltimore, ever since they pushed back the left field fence, they've been saying that was one of the excuses that they said that Austin Hayes hasn't hit as many home runs. Well, hey, it hasn't affected Gunnar Henderson and Anthony Santander.
Hey, Hayes just hit a 3-run bomb, so there you go.
Yeah, although I believe I know Henderson's left-handed. I'm not sure Santander. They might both be left-handed, so left field wouldn't affect them as much. But
right,
that's my drift.
Gotcha.
So okay, all right. So that's the West. Now we'll go to the Central. Cleveland Guardians, 64-42.
Actually, 65-42, Joe.
What, they win today?
They did, yes.
All right, so they're 5-5 in their last 10, at least entering today.
6-4 in their last 10, Joe.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What they must have played? That's weird. They played on a Tuesday afternoon.
It says 65-42. That's what I got.
Okay. Yeah, because I printed these out like 10 o'clock this morning. All right, Minnesota Twins, 58-47.
Yep.
5.5 games out, 4-6 in their last 10. I didn't see them real. Now there's a team, they really didn't do shit at the deadline, did they?
Not much, no.
I mean, if I'm a Twins fan, aren't you kind of disappointed that they didn't do anything? I mean, because
I think they like where they are. Their bullpen's really good.
Yeah, I mean, but if I'm a fan, I mean, I'm trying to win that division,
Sure. Well, they're 6 games out.
All right. Then you got Kansas City Royals, 58-49. Well, I guess they're 7 games out since the Guardians won, but I had 6.
Yes.
They're 6-4 in their last 10. Now the Royals made a few moves.
So what do you think, Joe? Does Bobby Witt have a shot at this MVP voting or what?
I
think he's in the running.
If they make the playoff, I mean, let's see. He's leading the league in hitting. He's hitting 347.
Yep.
He 148 hits. Yeah, I mean, if they make the playoffs, he might have a shot. But I don't know, bro. I mean, is anybody? How do you not give it to Aaron Judge, though?
Oh, I get it. 97 RBI. I mean, but Bobby Witt is just having a great year, man. He really is.
Oh no, I mean, he definitely is. But I mean, Aaron Judge, like, he's barely even human.
Yeah.
I mean, my man's got 39 homers, 99 RBIs, and hitting 315, and it's July.
Yeah,
1st.
it's pretty sick. Pretty sick.
I mean, if I told you they were his, if I said it was October 3rd and they were his numbers, you'd be like, "Damn, great year."
Yes.
It's July.
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to win it. I just think he's in a running for it. Is my question.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, listen, I'm not disparaging the kid. I mean, he's having a great year, and the Royals have a shot at the playoffs. And hey, I mean, good for Kansas City. I mean, they haven't had good baseball in about 9 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
I mean, Kansas City's in that wild card. They're in the wild card hunt, Joe. I mean,
yeah. So then I got the Detroit Tigers, 52-56, 13 games out, 4-6 in their last 10. There was talk they were going to trade Skubal. I know Skubal's in the running for the Cy Young, but they didn't. I guess they didn't get a good enough offer because I think
Cleveland beat Detroit today because now Detroit's 3-7 in the last 10.
Wait, what?
I said I think Cleveland beat Detroit today because now the Tigers are 3-7 in their last 10. Okay.
All right. Well, all right. So that's that. But Skubal. I mean, Skubal's only got a 2.35 ERA, and he's a really good young pitcher. But they were talking about that they were going to listen on him But I mean, you'd have to give up a boatload to get that kid. What's he? I
Yes.
think he's like 27 with pitching like that.
This next team, Joe, blows my mind.
Chicago White Sox,
27-82.
That's like one of the worst records like ever.
39 games back, Joe.
Can you imagine? I'll tell you, the reliever the Phillies got, what was it? I think it was Tanner.
Tanner's. I don't know his last name, but I know it was Tanner. I know that much.
Yeah, but anyway, the reliever the Phillies got, I mean, he's got to be like, man, this is great. I'm going from the outhouse to the penthouse.
The penthouse. Joe, in the wild card spot, they are 32 games out of the wild card.
I know. Can you imagine?
And they're 0-10 in the last 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing for them, I mean, you mailed it in, I mean, you got
15-game losing streak, Joe. That's crazy.
Yeah, anybody that's going to those games, they're one of the Gallaghers. They're just getting shit faced.
Well, they're just baseball fans in my opinion. I mean,
so
let's go see the other team play.
You got to be a diehard. You got to be a diehard with nothing to do to sit through that track.
Wow, it's crazy.
All right,
27-82, Joe. Oh my Lord.
So then we go to the best division in baseball, the American League East.
Yep.
There's really no argument with that this year. I mean,
no.
You got two of the top 4 or 5 teams in all baseball. You got the Baltimore Orioles, 63-44, half game up on the Yankees. They're only 4-6 in their last 10. Orioles have major relief concerns. They tried to correct it, as we talked about with the trade deadline with Mr. Anthony Dominguez and Soto. They got a couple starters and Eflin and the guy from the Marlins that I'm drawing a blank.
Jazz Chisholm.
Well, that's the Yankees. The Yankees got Jazz
Chisholm. Oh, sorry. Okay, my fault.
Yeah, so the Orioles added a couple starters. You got the Yankees right behind them, 63-45. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're a half game out. Like we said, Aaron Judge is basically superhuman. So I mean, he really is. Soto.
He's a Philly killer, that guy.
Soto's having a great year too. How would you like? What's funny? So how would you like to be Soto, right? Juan Soto is 4th in the major leagues in RBIs with 77. And he's 22 behind his teammate.
Oh, God.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy, Joe. It's crazy.
So we got 2 really good teams there. Hanging tough in the wild card race is the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox 56-49.
Only one game out of the wild card, Joe.
Yeah, they're 6 games out of division. 3-7 in their last 10. I kind of thought that maybe they would do a little more at the deadline. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I kind of think maybe Boston Red Sox. I mean, I know they did add relief pitcher Lucas Sims. Maybe that'll help them. But if I'm a Red Sox fan, I know they weren't necessarily supposed to be contending this year. But if I was a Red Sox fan, I kind of want to go for this wild card a little bit more. And I don't really feel like they added too much.
No. Well, they are 3-7 in the last 10 too. So, I mean,
yeah, but they're still right there. 56.
I'm saying being 3-7 in the last 10, they're still one game back in the wild card. So,
I mean, then again, you got the Tampa Bay Rays 54-52, 8.5 games out of division. They're only 2.5 behind Boston. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Well, the Rays were clearly sellers. I mean, the Rays did some selling.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And then you got
they traded Zach Eflin to the Orioles. I mean,
right, and that tells you that you're not you're punting to next year right then and there. Plus, they traded the outfielder. They traded. I
know they got 3 prospects for the Eflin trade. I know that much.
Yeah, they traded the outfielder. I'm trying to find his. It begins with an A. His last name, like Adazing. I never can say the names. Adazingo or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh crap! All right, there's a hit there. Okay, well, they're punting on the year, even though they're in it. Then you got the one probably.
Oh, Randy Arizona. Randy Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. He went to the Mariners.
Yeah, that was a good move. Yeah, that's right. I thought Seattle got him. That was a good move by Seattle.
Yep.
So your Seattle Mariners are making some moves.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
All right. And bringing up the rear in this division is the
But that was for 3 prospects, though, Joe.
What's that?
So when the Rays made the trade to get Randy, well, when Randy was the Mariners, that was for 3 prospects. So.
Yeah, well, I figured he was going to net them something, considering he's a proven playoff performer.
Sure.
I mean, the guy hits extremely well in the playoffs. So, of course, and it'll help him get in. You know, so you got nice play by Castellanos there. But yeah, Toronto Blue Jays. Would you think that the Blue Jays might be one of the most disappointing teams in baseball? Probably.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought Vlad Jr. would get traded. I really did.
It would have taken a boatload to get him.
True. But I thought maybe he'd go somewhere. You know.
Yeah. So. All right, so let's work our way over to the National League. We'll do we'll work west to east like we did the American League.
Works. That works.
All right, so we got in first place the Los Angeles Dodgers, 63-44, 7-3 in their last 10, and don't look now, but Philadelphia had a 7-game lead for the number 1 seed. Right now, that lead is down to 3 games.
3 games. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so Dodgers playing good ball. Of course, they made some acquisitions. They got Flaherty to as his pitcher. They got a couple of outfielders. So that was good move. Then you got the red hot San Diego. Actually, you know what's funny? You got 3 teams red hot in this division because you got.
Yes, you do. I was just going to say.
You got the Padres, 57-51, 6.5 games out, 7-3 in their last 10, and of course they just added Tanner Scott from
Tanner Scott. Yep,
huge move. Padres arguably may have the best bullpen in baseball going forward, and that if they do get in, that should really serve them well because you know how the postseason is. I mean, a lot of times starters only go like 3 innings, 3.5, and it's a bullpen game.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Then there's a team behind them that's kind of hot themselves.
Diamondbacks, 56-51, 7 games out, 7-3 in their last 10. Of course, they just added Josh Bell.
And only a half a game out of the wild card, Joe.
Yeah, so they're right there.
Yep.
Dave, what do you have the Giants?
Giants are 53-55. They're 10.5 games out, and they're 4 games out of the wild card spot. But they are 6-4 in their last 10.
Yeah, and they still have a chance. A lot of people were speculating that they were going to possibly trade Blake Snell.
He's still there.
They did trade a pitcher to Cleveland though. They traded I think Webb. What was it? Not Webb. Shit. I wish I had my phone, dude. Giants traded a starting pitch. Cobb. They traded Cobb.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So they traded Cobb to Cleveland. So that was a good move there.
And at the bottom of the list, you got the Colorado Rockies at 38-69.
Yeah, they're playing as drunk as Bill Giles was that night in 2007, where he said Colorado Rockies.
25 games out, and they're 18.5 out of the wild card, and yet they're 4-6 in their last 10. So. Well,
that's baseball. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, So
I think that's honestly, Joe. That's a 3-team race right now. I think the Dodgers are still going to take it, but I can see San Diego maybe getting the wild card spot.
Yeah, or Arizona. I mean, yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what. I think the 3 wild card. I think the Mets. I think the Mets and the Mets, Pirates, and Cardinals will kind of fall off just slightly. I think the 3 wild card teams are going to be Braves, Padres, and Diamondbacks.
I'm not counting the Mets out, Joe. I think the Mets still get that third, second spot.
Well, I mean, hey, you could be right, but I we'll see. But I mean, just based off of how, based off of the moves, I'll tell you what. If it's Braves, Padres, and Diamondbacks, that's 3 pretty tough wild card teams.
It is. I agree.
In fact, all year I was kind of thinking it would be a shoo-in that the Braves would win that. But if they got to play, say the Diamondbacks are the 6th seed and they got to play the Brewers in like a rematch of last year.
Yeah.
And then it's Braves Padres. It wouldn't shock me if the Padres beat Atlanta.
No, it wouldn't shock me either.
So all right.
Does Manny get hot at the right time, Joe?
Exactly. All right, so let's go to the Central. Central here, we got the Milwaukee Brewers, 61-45, 7-3 in their last 10. And I'll tell you what, still playing some really good baseball. Brewers have had some injury problems, especially with their pitching. Still playing great ball.
Actually, Reese is not playing bad out there either, Joe.
Yeah. So they're playing good ball. You got the St. Louis Cardinals, 54-52.
Tied with the Pirates.
7 games out, 4-6 in their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Pirates, 54-52, 7 games out, 6-4 in their last 10. So they made up 2 games out of the last 10 to tie St. Louis.
And both teams are 2 games out of the wild card spot, Joe.
Yeah. Then you got the disappointing Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds, 51-55. 4-6 in their last 10. They're 10 games out. I got to eat some crow on them. I really thought.
Joe, don't count them out yet. They're only 5 out of the wild card spot. They still have a chance. I'm not saying they're going to come back, but you never know. I'm just saying.
They have a chance, but the only thing with them, though, look at all the teams they have to. I mean, they have to overcome a lot of teams.
Yeah. I think the disappointing. You can Cincinnati. I know you picked them and everything. I get that. But I think the disappointing team in this the Central is the Cubs. I mean,
well, the Cubs too. Yeah, 51-57, 11 games out, 4-6 in their last 10. Yep. They're sellers. Were you surprised they didn't trade Bellinger?
I was. I thought maybe he'd go to the Phillies. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Hey, can I tell you somebody that's not disappointing?
Who's that?
If you get hurt out there and you need to get money. Well, you won't be disappointed if you call this guy right here, Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or, like I said, personal injury claim. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So, we don't want anybody to get hurt, but if you do, don't disappoint yourself. Get yourself paid. Don't slip and fall in the store and try to settle for a 40 like I'm going to get you, sucker. You know what I mean?
And call Big Al.
Get yourself some cold hard cash. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So let's go to the National League East. Now, National League East, you have a team with the best record in baseball still. Now, we'll see if that changes after tonight. Philadelphia Phillies in first place, 65-41. Only 3-7 in their last 10. Really struggling lately. Atlanta Braves in second, 56-49, 8.5 games out. They also were struggling in their last 10, 3-7. New York, the hot New York Mets, 56-50, 9 games out, only a half game behind Atlanta, 7-3 in their last 10.
Yep.
So they basically made up 4 games on Atlanta out of the last 10 games. And 4 games.
I was surprised Atlanta didn't take advantage of that, but it is what it is.
Well, part of the reason is they had to play the Mets.
That's true. That is correct. Yes.
Although I think Atlanta won the last 2 in New York, which because the Mets had actually overtaken Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then I think Atlanta won the next 2.
I'm trying to think. Did the Mets take 2 out of 3?
What's that?
I thought the Mets took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta.
No, I could be wrong, but all I know is Atlanta. All I know is Atlanta's ahead of them still.
Better to struggle now than later. Our the big man himself checks in.
Speaking of Mets, make sure you check out the Bat Cave tomorrow.
See, his ears were ringing, Joe. That's why he chimed in.
well, Ken, let me get were you disappointed in what the Mets did? Oh, they split a 4-game set. That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Okay. I thought there was two out of okay, 2-2. Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay. Gotcha.
But Ken, since you're chiming in, were you disappointed that you guys didn't do a little more, or were you happy that you didn't, sell big on the prospects?
He'll chime in.
Joe is right. Mets won first 2, then Braves took the next 2.
Gotcha. I thought it was a 3-game series. I thought it was 2 out of 3.
Hey, listen. I thought it was a 3-game series too. I didn't realize they played Thursday. So
gotcha. Yep.
All right. So then we got the Nationals, 49-58, 16.5 outs, 5-5 in their last 10. Nationals traded Lane Thomas. Actually, he went to the Guardians. That was a nice move. Guardian, yeah. The Guardians made a few nice moves because I think Lane Thomas going to the Guardians is kind of a hidden little nice little move there.
Wait, didn't the Phillies just just play the Guardians not too long ago?
Yeah, this weekend Guardians took 2 out of 3.
I was gonna say I was just gonna say like the Guardians bullpen was really good, if I'm not mistaken.
Guardians are tough, man. They're right there. The Guardians are 64-42. I mean, shit.
But their bullpen is really good.
If the Phillies lose and the Guardians, actually, well, no, you said they won today, so the Guardians are 65-42. So in reality, if the Phillies were to lose this game, the Guardians are technically tied with us, or maybe even ahead of us.
There you go.
The Batcave, Ken Fry checking in. He says, "I'm happy they didn't dismantle the farm system. They've been trying to rebuild."
Okay.
Yeah, I can get that, but I guess what I'm saying is like, if you're a Mets fan, you don't want to. I get not giving up like your top prospects because it is about the long game with the Mets. But I was just wondering if you were a little disappointed that maybe you didn't, like you don't want to give up say your top like 2 or 3. But like, maybe if you gave up like 4 or 5 and like, and another one or whatever for something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stacy Northup goes, "Hey guys, let's go Yankees." Not today, Stacy. Not today. Not today and not tomorrow. After that, you can do whatever you want.
This is still 4-1?
Yeah, 4-1 still.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so last team in this division, second shittiest team in baseball, the Florida Marlins, 39-60, 26 games out. They are 6-4 in their last 10, but they are
and they just got rid of Josh Bell.
They traded like everybody. They traded Chisholm. They traded
Bell.
They traded Scott. They traded the young starter to Baltimore. I think they traded another out. I mean, they were like, remember the old? Didn't they use? Dave, wasn't there a commercial back in the day? Crazy Eddie's.
Yes, Crazy Eddie's places are insane.
Everything's on sale,
Everything's on sale.
They're like,
what are we, Bed Bath & Beyond here, Joe? What's going on here?
The Marlins were like used car salesmen, They're like, we're not letting you leave without a deal,
Going out of business, what?
Yeah, Stacy says Jazz to the Yankees. Yeah, that looks.
Yeah.
We got off to a good. Hey, he certainly got off to a good start last night.
He did.
Hang on, got one more here.
Oh, he hit one off Garrett Stubbs. Come on.
Yeah, a couple relievers too. Ken Fry says couple relievers Marlins traded away, one to the Mets.
Okay.
Well,
Mets are just giving everybody away. Marlins giving everybody away.
Yeah, Crazy Eddie, man.
Marlins are insane. I keep saying the Mets. I mean the Marlins. Sorry.
Yeah, and real quick before we get out of here, I always like to do the rookie odds. Hang on.
Okay.
Here we go. So
Yeah, Joe's a rookie guy.
The National League, it would be a friggin' miracle if Paul Skeens doesn't win that, John. Right now, he's minus 2,000 on. He's minus 2,000 on DraftKings, minus 6,000 on FanDuel, minus 4,000 on Bet365. And Paul Skeens is 6-1 with a 1.90 ERA, 103 strikeouts, and 80.2 innings. I mean, unless he gets hurt, which knock on wood, I hope he doesn't because he's good for baseball.
Yes, he's great for baseball. He's doing great.
Plus he's got a hot girlfriend. That's all that. So we give him props for that. You ever see Moneyball? Do you remember Moneyball?
I remember the movie. I never seen it though.
All right. Well, there's one line in Moneyball that's so great. So they have these old school scouts are talking about this player, and they're like, "Oh, he's got a good body. He can do this. He could do that." One guy goes, "Ugly girlfriend," and they go, "Oh, never mind." Oh, then they go, "Lacks confidence." Isn't that something?
I guess so. I mean, so it's all about the girls. What you're saying?
That was one of the coolest things I remember from that movie. Like these old school scouts. Here, Stacy goes shaking my head, but it's true though. Hey, it wasn't me. But I freely admit. I don't care what the guy's girlfriend looks like as long as he hit the ball. I'm not a male show. I'm not Mr. Male Chauvinist. But this movie, the scouts were saying that. So
I got to check out Moneyball.
Yeah, don't kill the messenger. You know what I mean? So, all right. Now in the American League Rookie of the Year race is like wide open.
Mm-hmm.
It's Colton Cowser's plus 200. Luis Gil is plus 250. Wyatt Langford's plus 450. Austin Wells, Yankees catcher, plus 500. And then we got some guy from the Red Sox, Raphael Lib, plus 600. And you know what's funny? Mason Miller might have had a better shot, but now that I guess he got hurt, he's plus 3,000.
I guess his odds just went down. Not happening.
He ain't going to win it. Plus, he's a hang on a second. Stacy Northrup says, that's why I have a hot husband. It's not for his brains.
Okay, Stace. All right.
So.
Wow.
Anything
truth comes out on Stacy there.
That's right. So anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
I was just shocked. A couple trades that went down. I didn't see Josh Bell leaving the Marlins. I didn't think they were going to trade him. I didn't see that coming. I thought maybe Alonso. I'm glad Alonso didn't go for the Mets, but I think he was. I know they were talking about it like a month ago. But other than that, I think right now I still like the Braves trade. Jorge Soler going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good. Orioles became the Baltimore Phillies. Getting all the former Phils. But now,
isn't that something? And it's funny too because they didn't get. It's not like they got our best relievers. I mean, they got. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they got,
Dominguez.
Right. I mean, I know Alvarado's been struggling of late, but it's not like they got like Hoffman or Strom or even Alvarado, who's got a power arm. He's just struggling right now. Like,
I mean, even getting Zach Eflin of another former Philly.
Right.
It's just, I mean, those guys are together, so they can work together again. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia South down there in Baltimore.
I'm telling you, it really. I mean, Kimbrel. But
yeah. So.
But no. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be a good time. Interesting down the stretch with the wild card. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at both these and in both leagues. I mean, I think the American League is a little bit stronger league, but I'll tell you, with some of these moves that teams like the Padres made, Padres in particular, I really like what they did.
I did too.
And the Braves getting Soler. Hey, maybe change of scenery. Diamondbacks getting Josh Bell and a few of the other things they did.
I still think the Phillies made out getting Carlos Estevez. I think that was a big that's a big move for them. The bullpen. That's something they needed.
I do too. And listen, I'm not. I don't know if Austin Hayes is an everyday player, But but the bottom line is though, I no matter how you slice it, he's an upgrade over Pache. So I mean, you know what I'm saying. So I don't think that was a terrible move either.
I want to talk to you about that. Christian Pache and Rojas, are they the same player? What does it matter if they trade either one?
I think Rojas is a little faster and a little better defensively. So to me, I mean, I know they're going to try Rojas because he's really good defensively.
Well, so is Pache. I mean, Pache can play center field. Like, who's good there?
No, he can. But to me, one of them had to go, and it made sense to be Pache because he was out of options. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because if they don't make that trade with Baltimore, they may just straight up release Pache and get nothing for him. So I
get it, but I mean, I just figured. I didn't think Rojas. I mean, Rojas is a good center fielder. Don't get me wrong; he catches everything. So Pache is good too, and they're both good outfielders. I mean, I know their bats aren't that great, but they're still two solid outfielders. And I thought for sure, I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought Rojas was going to go, Pache was going to stay, but
I gotcha.
Wasn't the case.
We will see, but. All right, Dave. Well, look, we're going to get ready to wrap up, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking us out. We're going to have a very interesting last few months of this baseball season. And like I always say, hey, anybody that's playing fantasy out there, good luck on your teams, and good luck to all the teams out there except for the Atlanta Braves, New York Mets, Washington Nationals, Florida. We don't give a shit about you. Nationals, you guys are out. And screw you, Dodgers. And who else do we?
Brewers.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I like Reese though.
I do too. I want to thank Adam for showing up today. It was nice of Adam to join the show today.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for checking us out. And we'll be back in a few weeks, and we'll see how some of these trades. We'll see some of the results of these trades.
And I'm very interested in the wild card because right now it's really fun to watch. It's so tight between the National League right now.
Definitely is. All right, everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you in a few.
Later.